These are some of my favorite exercises and yoga poses to start my day, especially if I wake up a little tight or if I have some lower back pain. You can also use this as a morning sequence. Begin standing in Tadasana, feet at hip distance. We're just going to start with some deep inhales through the nose and exhale through the nose. Drop the tailbone down, scoop of the pelvis, ribs in, shoulders soft, chin slightly tucked, slight bend of the knee if you feel pain in the back or if you feel unstable. Now we're going to roll down. Take an inhale. On your exhale, draw the chin into the chest, bend your knees, and slowly hinge over at the hips. Exhale when you get to the bottom. Take another inhale, and then exhale, draw your navel in, round, and roll on up. Again, inhale, exhale, chin to chest, round, and roll down. Bend your knees so your belly comes onto your thighs. Take another inhale. On your exhale, draw the navel in, scoop the pelvis, round, and roll on up. Inhale, exhale, chin to the chest, bend the knees, shoulders round over as we hinge at the hips, belly comes to the thighs. Inhale, exhale, draw the navel in, round, and roll on up. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears, exhale, around, back, and down. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears, exhale, around, back, and down, and another rolling of the shoulders around, back, and down. Now we're going to stretch our neck. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Press the palm of your left hand down towards the mat to help elongate the neck. For a deeper stretch, let the chin just go slightly up towards the ceiling, and you can bring your right hand onto your left chest and slightly pull down for an even deeper stretch. Nice long deep breaths through the nose. On your next exhale, slowly release that right hand, chin to chest, and now bring your left ear to your left shoulder, pressing your right palm down towards the mat. And to get a little bit of a deeper stretch, your left hand can come on to the right side of your chest as your chin slightly goes up towards the ceiling. Keep softening that right shoulder down and breathing through the nose. On your next exhale, rolling your chin towards your chest, and then inhale, shoulders up to the ears, exhale, around, back, and down. Let's go through a really slow sun salutation. That way we can focus on alignment. Palms to heart center. On your next inhale, reach the hands up for the ceiling. Energize the fingers, open the arms out wide, bend the knees, hips back, and hinge over at the hips into a forward fold. Bend your knees so your belly's on your thighs. Hands are reaching down towards the mat. Neck is relaxed. Continue the breath through the nose, nice and deep, nice and slow. Only straighten your legs as much as you can while maintaining the belly on the thighs. We're going to come into a halfway lift, so slowly slide the hands up the shins. Bring the torso up, shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep inhale. Keep your ribs in. Knees slightly bent if needed. On your exhale, slowly release, hinging back into your forward fold, hinging at the waist and bending your knees as much as you need to in order to keep your belly on your thighs. Plant your hands down on the mat at shoulder distance. Walk your feet back to high plank. Feet are at hip distance. Try not to arch in the lower spine by drawing the navel in, your belly in. Scoop of the pelvis. Press down into the hands so the shoulders broaden across your back. Neck is neutral. Keep activating the core to protect your lower spine. Inhale, shift forward, so your shoulders come forward, bring your knees to the mat. Keep that belly in and slowly hug your elbows into your side, bend your arms so your chest comes down onto the mat. Now point your feet and press the top of the foot into the mat so your kneecaps come off of the mat. Lengthen through the spine on an inhale. Shoot your heart forward. Then draw your shoulder blades together to draw your shoulders up off of the mat. Keep your focus forward and keep trying to lengthen through the spine as you bring your chest up. On your next exhale, slowly lower the shoulders back down to the mat. Now scoop the pelvis. So draw your hips off, press into the hands to bring your hips back, tuck your toes under, hips up and back to a downward facing dog. Staying here for a couple breaths, bending the knees if it's too much on your hamstrings, neck is nice and soft. Feel a slight internal rotation on the lower arm and an external rotation on the upper arms. Your focus should be looking at your feet. We're trying to get our heels on the mat, but if we don't, that's fine. Pressing into the hands to lengthen through the spine. On your next inhale, look forward and walk your feet in between your hands. Bend your knees if you need to into your forward fold. We'll stay here for a couple breaths in this inversion, keeping the breath through the nose and the belly on the thighs. We're relaxing forward, but our shoulders actively draw away from our ears. Keep the breath soft. Now on your next inhale, sliding the hands up the shins, coming on up halfway, keeping your belly in. Stay here for a couple breaths as you activate the core, shoulders away from the ears, knees slightly bent if you need to, focus is down. Then take another long inhale, and on your exhale, slowly hinge back over into the forward fold. Bend those knees, take an inhale. On your exhale, draw the navel in and round and roll on up to our mountain pose. Reach those arms out wide on an inhale and exhale, bringing the palms down to the heart center. Take a long inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Inhale, we're going to reach those arms up, open them up wide. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge over into our forward fold, relaxing the neck. Inhale, sliding the hands up to the shins, halfway lift, keep your belly in. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands down, step back to high plank, keep the core active. Inhale, shift your shoulders forward, knees down, belly in, hug your elbows in, bringing your belly down. Point the toes, inhale, lengthen through the spine as you rise your chest up. Exhale, chest back down, scoop the pelvis, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Keep the breath through the nose. On your next inhale, look forward, walk your feet in between your hands. Exhale, release into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, coming up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Bend those knees, take an inhale. On your exhale, draw your belly in and round, roll on up. Inhale, reach the arms out wide, bringing the palms together above you. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause if you'd like to do some more sun salutations on your own at your own pace. Let's come onto our knees for some cat-cows. We're going to have our knees stacked underneath our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders. Tuck your toes to get a deeper spinal opening. You're going to drop your belly. On your inhale, begin lengthening through the spine. Draw the heel of the hand towards your knees to help lengthen through the spine as you look up. On your exhale, draw your navel in and press down into the hands to round. So inhale, lengthen, drop the belly and open. And then exhale, press into the hands, scoop and round. This is our cat. Inhale, lengthen and open. We'll stay here for a couple breaths as you continue to try to lengthen as you open and extend the spine. Keep the breath through your nose. And on your next exhale, press down into the hands and round and scoop. Staying here for a couple breaths again as we're really drawing the navel in and pressing into the hands to round as much as we can. Inhale, lengthen, open into that cow, and exhale, scoop and round. Now let's have a little play with these cat-cows as you go at your own pace. As you're rounding, you can draw your hips back. You can let them gently rock side to side or hold on one side or another. Taking time for a little exploration can really bring you in tune with your body and how you're feeling and what you need. You can notice where you're tight, and you'll notice when a stretch is really helpful. So taking time to explore, especially in the cat-cow, is a safe way to really make this practice about you and what your body needs. I'm going to go into balancing table to help strengthen the spine. So extend your right leg back and reach your left arm forward. Palm is facing inward. Flexing that right foot to keep your hips square, draw your ribs in, pressing off of that right hand for support. Keep your core really active and your hips are stacked over the left knee. Take an inhale. On your exhale, draw your right knee into your left elbow and round, kind of like the cat, holding for a couple breaths. Now extend on an inhale. Exhale, bring your right knee down. Now let's switch. Left leg is back, right hand is forward, holding, keeping the breath through the nose, activating the core. Now take another inhale. On your exhale, left knee comes in to the right elbow as you round, pressing down into that left hand, drawing your core in. Now slowly inhale, extending that left leg and right arm, and exhale, bringing your left knee down and your right hand down. Drawing the hips to the heels for broken toe pose. If this is too much, you can bring the hands in front of you to the mat. Staying here for a couple rounds of breath as we stretch the feet. Ribs in, belly in, shoulders soft, neck is neutral. Breath continues to stay through the nose to keep us warm and keep us focused. Let's go into our downward facing dog, reaching forward with the hands, hips up and back. Go ahead and bend one knee at a time. Neck is soft. We're trying to get our heels on the mat. This is a nice Achilles stretch and also a great inversion to help reduce stress and to reduce inflammation. It's also known to calm the mind and reduce anxiety. Inhale, look forward, walk your feet in between your hands. Exhale, release into a forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to keep the belly on the thighs. Neck is soft, just hanging over. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, bend your knees, round, and roll on up to a stand. Come on to laying down for our bug exercises. This is an awesome strengthening for the core, especially if someone has lower back issues. Lying on the mat with the knees bent. It's going to be really important that we press the lower back into the mat. So we don't want to have the lower back lifted off the mat. You want to squish your lower back onto the mat so you'll feel a slight scooping of the pelvis. Bringing the arms overhead, extending the hands kind of like you would be pressing into a wall behind you. As the arms are reaching overhead, again, make sure that the lower back is on the mat. We'll be doing a little prance with the legs. The knees are going to be bent to 90 degree. So you'll bring one foot off, the knee stacked over the hips, then the other foot. So it's a little march or prance, bringing one foot up at a time, making sure that our knees only come stacked over our hips and the knees stay at 90 degree bend as we draw the lower back to the mat. Continue with that march, one foot at a time at your own pace. If the lower back comes off the mat at any time, go ahead and take a rest, hugging the knees to the chest. We can also do an advanced variation, drawing your shoulders up, reaching towards the bottom of the mat, keeping the knees up, and we would prance one foot down at a time, extend the foot in front of us, then bring the knee back to meet the other. So touch, kick, bring the knees back stacked over the hips. If it's too much on your neck, you can hold onto the neck. Again, when you get tired, hug the knees into the chest. I like to try and do those for about 5 minutes a day. All right, grab the back of the legs. Let's do a little rock and roll and come on up to seated. This next posture is a little awkward to get into, but a really wonderful way to stretch out your hip flexor and psoas. So you'll begin on your knees. Bring your right leg out to the side. Your right foot's going to go out to the side and bring your left knee inward. So it's kind of like the reverse of pigeon. Keeping your hips square so that left leg is extended behind us with the top of the foot on the mat. Your hands come to the inside, so the inside of your right leg, and you're going to grab your back left foot with your left arm. So draw your hips up a little bit to bend the knee and grab that back foot. It's a lot of weight on your right hand, but this is a part of the challenge. We're trying to get the heel to the bottom. Take a gentle rock with the hips side to side as you're bringing the heel towards your bottom. You're going to feel this in that left quad, psoas, hip flexor. Gently rock side to side, and you can do little pulses too. I like to release that left foot every once in a while and check to see if my hip flexor is gotten closer to the mat. We want to work to try and stay in this posture for about 1.5 minutes. This might be something you have to slowly work up to or take some pauses if needed. Keep breathing and trying to slowly release in that back leg and offering gentle rocks to kind of trick your brain. I know it's a big stretch and that helps trick your brain a little bit. Slowly extend the back leg and come on back to all fours to do the opposite side. So left foot goes out to the left, knee comes down onto the mat. Right leg is extended back, hands come to the right. Then we're gonna grab our back foot with our right hand, trying to get the back heel to the bottom. Nice deep stretch in that back leg and offering a gentle rock of the hip side to side. Every once in a while, releasing that back foot to kind of check to see where you're at with the stretch. It's always nice to see you progress, to see that your hip flexor is getting closer to the floor. Again, if it's just too much on that hand that's supporting you, like that left hand, you can always come down to the forearm. This can give that arm a rest if it's just too much on the wrist. It's still a great stretch though. All right, coming back into all fours to release, and then child's pose. Big toes together, knees out wide, hips to the heels, forehead on the mat to give yourself a little break to relax in between sides. A great hip opening is a seated spinal twist. So you're going to bring your left foot towards your right hip. Cross your right leg over and your right foot goes towards your left hip. So each heel is going towards the opposite hip. The leg that is crossed over, right now I have my right leg crossed over. That hip is what you want to actively draw down. It's going to want to lift, especially if you're tight in the hips like me. So as I'm crossing my right foot over my left leg, trying to get my right heel towards my left hip, I need to focus on softening right hip, my right sit bone down towards the mat. Softening by lengthening the spine and also softening by hugging that right leg in. You can hug and have a gentle rock forward and back. Of course, the deeper variation is to cross your left arm over your right leg, reaching your right hand behind you, pressing into that right hand, lengthening through the spine for our spinal twist. But if you're not able to get your right hip on the mat, just stay focused on softening in the hips, hugging that right knee in towards the chest. So make sure to do both sides. And again, we want to try and stay in this for about 1.5 minutes. I'm just doing an overview of these postures so you can understand what they are. But ultimately in your own practice, you want to stay and hold for 1.5 minutes, even up to 2 minutes. Also focusing on where you need the stretch. If this is really hard on the hips, then just stay relaxing into the hips. If you're more open in the hips, then this nice spinal twist could be what you're focusing on. Yoga is about you and what you need. So really listen to your body and use these postures for your own body's benefit. When doing twists in the spine, make sure that you're always lengthening through the spine as you twist, keeping the breath really soft through the nose to help deepen the stretch and also to help massage the internal organs.